Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. That's Maddie, and it is week 4 of the NFL, and we already got a game going on.
Yeah, welcome to the Yankee and the Brit week 4 Dublin game halftime show. We've kind of timed this perfectly, and it's lined up very well with halftime this time around, which is great for us. Miles Smith is currently playing, and we are doing a Pittsburgh Steelers versus Minnesota Vikings watch-along, as well as all of our week 4 previews, where we go through every game that's left in week 4 and give you our predictions of the betting spreads. And on top of that, we've got fantasy players to watch. And keep watching the show, guys, because by the end, we'll be doing a parlay of a Yankee in the Brit community parlay, I've called it, where we ask for your ideas on what to put in our parlay. And if you contribute to the parlay, you'll be entered in and it hits, you'll be entered in the giveaway for this week. So welcome in to the show, guys. And let's start with the game that is currently at halftime with Miles Smith tearing it up. That looks like a great show that's going on there. But Jay, the Minnesota Vikings are down 14 points to 6 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's get in and dissect the first half of that game before we move on with the rest of the week. Jay, how has Rodgers managed to get on top of this Vikings defense? Because they've looked pretty good.
DK Metcalf's been a big one. That 80-yarder was big time. Yeah. But the truth is this game right now should be 21-3. It really should be. The Steelers left points on the board. Then, of course, it's Isaiah Rodgers comes in with the field goal block. Isaiah Rodgers just on fire in 2 weeks. DK Metcalf's a beast to cover, though. There was a throw on the sideline where Jeff Okudah just had him blanketed, and he still just snatched that ball from above him. So,
and Jeff Okudah's a physical cornerback as well.
Oh, what did you say?
Jeff Okudah is a physical cornerback. Like, he's a very physical guy as well. So to just like moss him, like, that's an impressive way to go. DK Metcalf has 4 receptions for 122 yards in that first half. He's playing incredibly well. And it is that one big busted out play that is the difference between the two teams on the scoreboard with that field goal block. Jay, do you think maybe they've got a bit too complicated in the Vikings defense this time round? Like, they've brought maybe a bit too, they tried maybe a bit too much. That 80-yard play from DK Metcalf was Aaron Rodgers diagnosing the cover that the Vikings put out, the disguise. He diagnosed it, and then because of the disguise, that made them weak, which allowed DK Metcalf to go off against zone.
No, I don't.
Sorry, I was just water.
I was waiting for your reaction. I know you were waiting for more, but yeah, and to think that DK's going off the way he is, but Justin Jefferson's already piling up 17 fantasy points with a ton. I think he's got over 10 receptions already, or going on 10 receptions on the game.
8 receptions, 97 yards. Yeah, close to 100 yards already.
This is a receiving battle.
Yeah, which is, I don't think, what many people expected, right? With the way that the Vikings defense has been playing, and then the way that the Vikings offense has been playing with Carson Wentz in there. And I think we have seen in that first half anyway, we've kind of seen that step back of the positives and negatives of Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz, not the most athletic guy. So when they broke through against the offensive line, which unfortunately your right tackle went down in that first half. O'Neal went down, which the Steelers defensive line is looking good in this game. They've managed to break, and then Carson Wentz isn't mobile enough to get away. But then as he was being sacked in one of the plays, he manages to shovel a pass away. But then on top of that, Carson Wentz nearly throws an interception when you're down in the red zone after a 2-minute drive, looping the ball in the air after being pressured. The true Carson Wentz experience is on show in Ireland right now. Jay, what has been missing from this Vikings team? Sorry.
Well, that throwaway, it's the dumb shit. Put something behind it. You're throwing the ball away. We've seen this with other. We watched Caleb throw an interception on the sideline this year that he was trying to just put your fucking back into it and launch that fucker into the third row. Like, I don't know why that little. Who are you, Russell Wilson, with your rainbow pass? Just put that thing in the third fucking row. And the problem is the only place they're getting pressure is where there's 2 injured offensive linemen right now, which is the story. Minnesota's year is offensive lineman injuries, and we're only into week 4, so that's a fucking issue. But I don't know. I think we're at a point now where the Steelers fucked around and left Minnesota into this game. Minnesota has not even this year, but last year, Kevin O'Connell's teams they score points at the end of halves. And I really wanted a touchdown, don't get me wrong. But now you go in down 8 and you get the ball back. This game is like you're right back in it. And again, I'm sighing of breath of relief as a Vikings fan because it literally should be 21-3.
Yeah, the game feels. Sorry, they're showing a highlight reel of the pressure that the Steelers have been getting on Wentz. He took a huge hit in that first half as well. But the Vikings feel like they're more out of this game, like feel like they should be way out of this game. Compared to where they are, and the Vikings actually can count themselves lucky. I agree with you there, Jay, and the Steelers have really allowed a team that knows what they're doing to get out there. Positive signs for the Vikings as well is Justin Jefferson looks good, as we've already mentioned, but Jordan Addison gets his first reception back after the suspension as well. So signs of life for the Vikings. It's not as out there as how that game has felt. And Jay, just the final thing, I'm amazed at how Steelers heavy this home crowd seems to be in Dublin. I'm like, normally when you see these international games, it's not as crazy as this. But what do you think other teams can learn for the international games going ahead, especially the Vikings in London next week, about how you can turn this into a thing in international games, like getting yourself more home support?
So I've heard this all week because Art Rooney was the ambassador under Obama to Ireland. He did a lot for the NFL. I didn't remember this, but I forgot the Steelers played a preseason game there once before too. So I didn't realize until this week that Ireland was Steelers country. So for the UK, they've been preaching all week that it's Steelers country, and we're seeing it now.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I think it is definitely having an effect on this game. And look, when the Irish get raucous in that stadium that they've got there in Croke Park, when they get raucous there, that's allowed. We've seen it at the Ryder Cup all week as well. Like the European fans are largely Irish fans, and they're definitely making some noise.
Oh wait, my bad.
They're definitely making some noise out in the US in the Ryder Cup as well. Jay, the second half has just kicked off. So as we're going through this show, guys, we will be watching along. Jay, obviously a Vikings fan, so we'll be watching.
So it kicked off already for you? They kicked?
Yeah.
That's how far behind I am. They're lining up to kick right now on my TV.
I'm okay. Well, I'll hold my reactions.
Oh, you don't have
that. Actually makes it easier for me. But yeah, so we will be watching the game along as we go here. So follow along with us as you're watching the game. But Jay, while we're watching this game, I want to cast your mind back to Thursday night football. The Arizona Cardinals went up against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks dominated that game, but somehow only came out with a 3-point win, covering the spread, which was good for me. But it was somehow only a 3-point win. Jay, despite a poor game overall, did we see the turnaround for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr.? Because they started to get it together at the end.
No, Marvin Harrison just proved again that he can't get separation. And I'm not going to lie, I find it crazy that you called that game a blowout.
I don't think it was a blowout. I think it was like the whole time as you were watching it, it wasn't close until the fourth quarter. Like I went to bed.
See, the whole game, I felt like, the Cardinals are still in this. The Cardinals are battling. I never felt like the Seahawks had that game in hand. So it's just crazy how we looked at it differently.
No, I just think I was watching the Cardinals. I think it was the play where Kyler Murray hits Marvin Harrison Jr. in the chest, and Marvin Harrison Jr. gets hit in the chest, and he ends up bouncing off his chest. He's in between two guys, and he was lucky for it not to be tipped and intercepted. I think I just went, okay, the Cardinals can't get any offense done, nothing whatsoever. So let's see here. I'm going to go to bed. And then I woke up and I watched the highlights of the fourth quarter, and I was like, holy shit, Sam Darnold needs to have a game-winning drive to go down and win the game. It got to 20-20. It was a good game.
And I really feel like the Cardinals lost because of their stupid kicker.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to overtime, and I thought the Cardinals were going to win that game because of momentum, and then their kicker can't even kick it past the 20. So, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Poor special teams play. And Jay, just like in week 3, we've seen special teams have a big effect on week 4 already in both of these games with a block kick, and now some great work on the punt that has just happened for the Vikings there. But Jay, the other part of this game was that Sam Darnold looked great again, I thought, and goes down a 7th game-winning drive since 2024, tied with Patrick Mahomes for the most in the NFL during that span since 2024. He has 7 game-winning drives. Jay, is Sam Darnold built to lead a Super Bowl team?
See, you jump to the Super Bowl. If you were are they playoff contenders? Yeah. No, I don't think Sam Darnold will ever be the catalyst to a Super Bowl, because soon as it gets tough, Sam Darnold becomes Sam Darnold, and he proved it last year. He proved it. And I think McDonald's a good coach. I don't think he's Kevin O'Connell. I don't think he's Kyle Shanahan, but I don't know. I think Sam Darnold's really good, but I think he's a guy that's always going to leave people damn.
Yeah, and the reason I jumped to the Super Bowl, Jay, is exactly what you said. He took the Minnesota Vikings to the playoff last year and shit the bed in that playoff game. He shit the bed in the game that would have given them the first overall. And then he also shit the bed in the playoffs as well. He didn't look good. And I think Sam Darnold, I have always liked Sam Darnold. I like Sam Darnold a lot. I think he is clearly very talented, and clearly has a really great mindset.
You like Sam Darnold more than his family.
Yeah, in the same way, I like redemption story quarterbacks in the same way that Danny Dimes is now amazing, and all Justin Fields.
Time out. Yeah, no, you can't do Justin Fields. Justin Fields is garbage. There's no redemption. Caleb's garbage. You like trashy quarterbacks. That's what you like. You like shitty quarterbacks, and then you just jump on, and you like them more than their own mothers. Sam Darnold's mother does not like him as much as you do.
I think Sam Darnold is clearly a talented quarterback and clearly has a great mindset to go through what happened with the Jets. He was only 21 when he was at the Jets. Sam Darnold is my age, by the way. That's mad. We were born in 1997, right? This is 27 years old. And he feels like he's been in the league forever. He feels like he's already been beaten up, became a backup quarterback.
Because he has.
I'm impressed with that story. Yeah, exactly. I'm impressed with that story. So he has been, and now he's back, and he's still only 27, and has loads of gameplay ahead of him. I agree with you, though. I don't think he can take a team to the Super Bowl, at least not this team, to the Super Bowl. Anyway. But Jay, good win.
As of right now, Sam Darnold's not even a has-been. He's a never was.
Wow. Tied in the league with Patrick Mahomes for game-winning drives at 7.
But what has he ever done? To be a has-been, you had to be great at one point. He has been. Now he's a has-been. That's the meaning. He's a never was because he's never been great. Maybe he will, but at this point, he's a never was.
Yeah, and I think he's got plenty of time to become what we want him to be. But I agree with you, really. I don't think he does have the outright ability to take a team to the Super Bowl. Although this Seahawks team looks way better than we kind of gave it credit for at the start of the season. And the Cardinals team kept it close as well. I agree with you. People have started saying, "Oh, that end of game play for Marvin Harrison Jr. shows what he can do," and it's like the reason he looked like he was doing something is because he got zero separation, and you can't keep that up in the NFL. You can't continuously, as your number one wide receiver, have zero separation and have to make pretty special catches with the hands, which he ended up doing at the end of the game. Okay. Okay, moving on from Thursday night and from and continuing to watch the game here in Ireland. But Jay, we are going through our week 4 early windows preview, and we'll give everybody the spread bet. And we bet on we take the spreads from DraftKings for this segment of the show, guys. So if you like the sound of the spreads, they're all on DraftKings. And Jay, the Atlanta Falcons are going up against the Washington Commanders, and the Falcons are 1.5-point favorites. This is because Jayden Daniels has been ruled out. But should that have been enough for the betting odds to switch between Washington being the favorites when we did the show on Thursday, and now Atlanta are the favorites on Sunday? Should Jayden Daniels be ruled out be enough to switch that over?
But it's not just Jayden Daniels. It's the Scary Terry being injured too. And the Commanders have multiple starters that are injured. And I think that means they're going to have a harder time with the defensive line injury stopping Bijan. But they're going to have to sell out for that, because if he gets going, they're really fucked, because that's when the quarterback can get free, play action, that kind of things. But I think it has a lot to do with Scary Terry and the other injuries too, not just Jayden Daniels. And because of Ireland, I almost called him Jayden McDaniels. Okay, so I don't know where that came from.
Jayden McDaniels. It's all the talk about whether Mike McDaniels should be fired or not. In this game. And
wait, one second, isn't this a must-win for the Falcons too? Wouldn't you call this a must-win for the Falcons to get their season? Not that the season be over, but for the way they're at, they don't want to spiral.
Yeah, with how good the Bucs look, how good the Panthers are looking pretty decent as well. Like, considering they got beat 30 points to 0 by a division rival as well last week. Like, they have to get right in this game. And Jay, I think this isn't just a must-win game for the Falcons as an organization. This is a must-win game for Michael Penix here. You're going up against Marcus Mariota with no weapons after just being beat, donuted 30 points to 0 against the Carolina Panthers. And Jay, at no point in that game did Michael Penix look good. And they benched him for Kirk towards the end of that game. Do you think that Michael Penix is kind of getting a free ride from NFL media? Because I've seen no coverage on how bad he's been, but plenty of coverage with other quarterbacks. And just how long of a leash are you giving Michael Penix if you're the Falcons GM this year?
I'm glad you said that, because the worst thing I heard about Michael Penix this week is they're like, do you think he's an NFL quarterback? And they're like, well, the Falcons better hope so. That's the worst thing. And he has played awful, and other quarterbacks have gotten beat up. And I don't mean to be funny, but I'm not even being funny, but he doesn't have 4 years to get ready like a 22-year-old quarterback. Like, he's older in the scheme of quarterbacks. Like, you need him to start getting ready. And I'm not saying this year is make it or break it for him, but I think we saw more signs of life from him at the end of last year than we have it this year. And if I'm a Falcons in the Falcons organization, that makes me nervous. Like, how come we saw more at the end of the season last year than we're seeing right now, when in theory the team is actually built to be built around you now for you to succeed? Again, though, young guy, take a deep breath. I mean, they're going to have some growing pains, but he better start showing something, because we haven't seen why he was the 8th overall pick yet.
They took an 8th overall pick to get Penix, and the reason they did that, overpicking JJ McCarthy and overpicking Bo Nix, who have a lot more time ahead of them, as you've already mentioned, the reason that they did that is he was supposed to be the most ready to play out the box prospect of that draft class, and he hasn't looked it at all. I don't think they can give him a long leash really at all. I think if he doesn't improve this year, they should be drafting a quarterback in the next draft. Like
I agree with your premise, but can they, by the way they botched the whole Kirk Cousins, then Penix, can they go for another quarterback without looking completely fucked?
Yeah, and I mean with Penix as well, it's the with Penix as well, it's how bad he actually looks. Like there's often times where you're like, okay, like Trevor Lawrence, for example. Like Trevor Lawrence might not be playing great football right now, but Trevor Lawrence always looks good. Like he looks like he's got the goods to play football. Like just he's not clicking with wide receivers, for example. Penix, his throwing was inaccurate and no zip on the ball last week at all. Like his motion looked poor. Like his motion looked bad. His throwing mechanics looked wrong. So I think instead of compounding a problem, you just move off the problem. However, we also need to understand that people's jobs are on the line, and you can't be seen to great play. You can't be seen to have failed over and over again, or you'll just lose your job. Like, and you can't afford, like, people can't afford to lose their jobs. That's where that's at. So yeah, I agree with you here. Jay, with all that being said, with the Commanders' injuries, with Penix's problems, who have you got in this game where, just a reminder, the Atlanta Falcons are now a 1.5 point favorite?
I still think the Commanders win this game, and you're giving me points because I just think they're a better coach team, and I think in the long run that is what's going to – because neither of these teams are like, oh, these are great – like teams, because with Jayden Daniels injured, you're not like, oh, they're going to blow the doors off either way. And I think it's going to close game. If you don't rely on your stars, then it goes to coaching. And I think that the Commanders have better coaching because I don't think either team have the stars right now to say, get on my back and I'll carry us. Because the one guy on the Commanders who might be able to do that is injured.
Yeah, no, like obviously the one guy on the Falcons, Bijan Robinson, is being completely sold out by the fact his team can't pass the ball at all. Like, so he's getting, like, it's just in the box, like the box is filled the entire time. So I'm also going for the Commanders on this one. I picked the Commanders as my best bet of the week when they were favored at 1.5. I was expecting Jayden Daniels to play because he'd been in practice till that point in the week till Thursday. I'd probably take it away from a best bet, must bet now. Obviously, we make those picks on Thursday and we keep them. However, I do think Marcus Mariota had a better game last week, like in terms of on third down, he was a good running threat. In the red zone, he was a good running threat. Like their running game has looked decent throughout. And I just don't think the Falcons have any offensive juice. I think an injured Commanders defense is still better than a Panthers. An injured Commanders defensive line is still better than a Panthers defensive line. And the Panthers defensive line managed to zero out the Falcons last week. Jay, moving on to another interesting game when it comes to quarterbacks, because Jaxson Dart is starting for the New York Giants against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers are 6-point favorites. Guys, if you want to see what our thoughts were on Jaxson Dart, then go back and watch our show from Thursday. That was the last show. But Jay, can Scatterboo carry the Giants to a win with Jaxson Dart starting? Surely Scatterboo takes a big step up this week after a great week last week.
I don't know. After Henley was asked about the linebacker for the Chargers, he was like, we are up for the challenge against Jaxson Dart. We don't want a rookie to get off, or he's going to try to get off on us, and we're going to do everything we can to shut him down. This defense is going to be ready. So for us, he's going to get our best, and I'm sure we're going to go out there and get his. But that was a nice way of saying, think he was saying, we're going to beat the shit out this rookie. And also, stat people might not know, but quarterbacks making their first career start against the Chargers are 3-17 in the Super Bowl era.
Wow.
And
wow,
I think
great stuff.
You got to go up against Jim Harbaugh as your first start. He's going to punch you in the mouth all game, control the clock, try to limit you on defense and beat you up. If they can get that running game going, then the Giants are going to have a rough game rough time all game, because they're just going to eat the clock and keep Jaxson Dart and you keep a rookie on the sideline, he can't get comfortable. He can't get in a groove. And the best thing you can do for a rookie quarterback is get him comfortable and in the groove. So I think it's a rough start for Jaxson Dart. And I think you said on Thursday they play the Saints next week. Why are we starting against the Chargers? If you didn't play all game, why are we starting against, or all season, why are we not starting against the Chargers? Quit making faces, Maddie. I'm a play behind.
Sorry. You're getting the full Carson Wentz experience is just what I can say in the next couple of plays. It's all fine.
I just watched him run for a first down, so stop.
Yeah, he ran for a great first down, and then you get some awesome vintage Carson Wentz in the next play as well. It's great. But Jay, the other part of that is, yes, I 100% agree with you. Why the hell are you starting Jaxson Dart against the Chargers? They also, the other thing to do with this is surely you just want to sit your rookie for as long as possible, considering you're not getting anything out of this season. Like, the Giants should know they're not getting anything out of it. Yeah, are you watching the...
How are you blaming that on Carson Wentz, though?
He ducks out and manages to escape, and then the ball somehow ends up on the floor. I didn't really see the whole play. It was just an interesting thing.
I'm like, he caught a knee to the ball. Like, I don't know how that was his fault.
Yeah, it's like unlucky. It's just
how does Carson Wentz get blamed for that?
No. It's just so Carson Wentz to be able to duck out of tackles and stuff, and still, unfortunately for him, the ball ends up being.
Damn, can they block somebody? Fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand how with Jaxson Dart you would start him in this game against the Chargers, against hardball, against a team that runs and plays so hard football as well. They play really hard-nosed football coming up, when also you've got Jameis Winston on the bench, because surely you want to keep your rookie for as long as possible. So why not just run Jameis Winston out there and see what happens? No, but just to see what happens, because surely you want to see your rookie go as long as possible. And then, yeah, that is... I'm
losing my mind over this fucking game.
Yeah, I feel like Jay is just reacting to the turnover that just happened in the Vikings-Pittsburgh game. Jay, that series was all very, very the issues and positives with Carson Wentz. The Steelers do have the highest knockdown rate in the NFL, from what I've heard as well, which is obviously impressive. But Jay, the other side of this, though, is the positives that the Giants have going into this game is their other rookie, Cam Skattebo, who looked excellent in last week's game. He might be able to do it for the Giants and give Jaxson Dart that really good platform to play from. Because the Chargers actually allow the 5 yards a carry on average. That's the 7th most in the NFL. The issue with that is the Giants are 5th most in the NFL, with that stat of carry average yards per carry against. Jay, the Chargers should win this game. They're the favorites to win this game. They're at -6 to win this game. Potential backdoor cover. Jay, what have you got in this one? The Giants against the Chargers at -6.
Give me the Chargers. I don't feel like the Giants are going to be able to stay in this game with the rookie quarterback, and I know how Jim Harbaugh is going to handle this. Well, at least I really feel like I know how Jim Harbaugh is going to handle this. So, yeah, I don't see it. But last week I thought there were some crazy spreads, and I ended up being wrong. So, but I'm still going to take the Chargers.
Yeah, in this one, I'm going to take the Chargers as well. I don't see Jaxson Dart getting into a comfortable rhythm in this game at all, and I feel like that's what they'll need, because the Cowboys are getting a lot of hate, but the Giants are also giving absolutely a shit ton of yards in their secondary as well. And look, the Chargers, Justin Herbert's Quentin Johnson has been so good this year that I can see that happening. Jay, the Houston Texans are 7-point favorites against the Tennessee Titans. Jay, we've made loads about the Houston Texans O-line, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But we do need to also talk about, is AJ Stroud actually playing well? Like, is CJ Stroud actually doing anything to help his offensive line there, or is it just entirely the offensive line that's the problem in Houston?
Yeah, well, CJ Stroud has had some problems the last year and a half or so, but a lot of it is that defensive line. And how do we even judge CJ Stroud if the guy's running for his life and about to die? So the only chance that the Texans have in this game is their defense, but this is a defense that's only allowing 17 points per game. They're tied for fifth in best average in the league. Their pass generation or pass rush has generated 9 sacks, which is tied for fourth. I think it all goes on their offense. Can you score more than 17 points? And they've allowed the most sacks in the league, and that's 15. So, like, yeah, you're playing great on defense and you generated 9 sacks, but you gave up 15. You're only allowing 17 points a game. You should be winning.
Yeah, the net sack rate, considering how great the defense has been absolutely crazy, because that defense has been lights out, so good, keeping them in games. I actually think that CJ Stroud can do a little bit more to help out his offensive line. I do think that CJ Stroud has a tendency to try and play hero ball, throw the ball away, don't let them get sacked. Just know that you're getting pressured on over 50% of dropbacks. Make sure to throw the ball away when you're playing, so that you aren't constantly going backwards, because when you're constantly going backwards, you're taking the run game out. You're meaning that the run game can't be used, which then means even more problems, because they can get their whole pass rush packet on to go against you. So make sure you're staying in front of the chains and throw the ball away. But it is difficult for CJ Stroud, so I'm not going to really blame him too much for that one. Jay, the Titans, Cam Ward is obviously...
Why does CJ Stroud get a pass? But anybody who's ever played for the Eagles, it's their fault.
I just said that.
Because I watched Carson Ball just get tipped. I watched Carson get tipped. Interception, that's Carson's fault. I watched Carson get a knee to the ball. That's Carson's fault. But CJ Stroud, everything's not his fault. That's an Eagle bias, and I'm just putting that out there. Hater.
I just gave a full explanation of what CJ Stroud could do to help his offensive line. Eagles bias is because if you play behind that Eagles offensive line, then you're playing against behind one of the best O-lines in the league.
The bias for the rest of their life.
The rest of their life. I should have maybe been a bit nicer about Carson Wentz's fumble.
It's a lifetime bias.
I'm a lifetime Eagles hater. I'm an Eagles hater until I die. But Jay, the final thing on this game here is just about Cam Ward. What can the Titans do to kind of help Cam Ward?
I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
What can the Titans do to help Cam Ward in this game? Like, how can they help Cam Ward against this excellent Texans defense?
Just give him time. If you give him some time, then I think he'll be fine, because he's accurate. And we've seen glimpses from him on why he was the first overall pick. So things like that, I think, give Cam Ward and the Titans some fuck you. Some like hope in this game. But I already think Tennessee's a shit show, because not only does the head coach give up fucking play calling, he gives it up to the quarterback coach, not the offensive coordinator, which makes me think the offensive coordinator was like, fuck you, I am not taking that job. You are, as a play caller, you're not ruining me for another job after this season.
Yeah,
I think we're seeing an in-season firing coming.
Yeah, I'm amazed at what we've seen from Callahan so far as Titans head coach. Like, he's been incredibly poor, where I didn't expect him to be. And I think the Titans are actually making a decent go of this rebuild. Like, the GM is actually making a decent go. The roster build actually looks okay. Like, it's fine. Like, they've got some young wide receivers there that now look pretty decent. And Cam Ward, I think, is the right guy to go through this rebuild with them. They need to improve that offensive line. They then need to get some star power. for him to go. And the defense is just creep towards average, get players in to creep towards average through the draft. And I think they'll be fine. They've been really serious coaching problems here. But Jay, the Texans are 7-point favorites in this game. This one's a bit close at 7. I expect the Texans to win because of the defense, but do you expect them to win by 7?
I don't expect them to win, so I'm taking the Titans.
All right. I like that. That's that'll be an upset of the week for a lot of people. Just entirely on the fact that if the middle of your offensive line can't block, then you're going to be in serious trouble. But Jay, I've got the Texans winning that one in that game. And I'm taking the Texans with the 7 points because I think their defense is just going to completely choke the Titans, to be perfectly honest. Jaylen Warren is out. He is out of this game. He got injured just before kickoff, which is going to really suck for anybody out on the West Coast who had their fantasy team set up, and then an hour before kickoff he's ruled out. And if you're on the West Coast, that will have been like, what time would that have been on the West Coast that Jaylen Warren gets ruled out?
So they're 2 hours ahead of me. So the game, So the game kickoff for the Vikings game was at 6:30 in the morning, West Coast.
So he's ruled out at 5:30.
5:30.
Yeah, that's rough. That's tough. These fucking international games, stop them, ban them. The Europeans don't deserve football. Yeah.
Just remember, everybody, that was the Brit saying that, not me. So when you get some heat, come at him.
Just remember, sarcasm exists. But Jay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are 3.5-point favorites in this game. Jay, the Buccaneers are injured pretty heavily all over the park. How will the Tampa Bay Bucs be able to compete with the Eagles with those injuries?
They'd have to keep Bucky Irvin moving. Like, you got to run the ball if you have that many injuries, and you always want to limit the possessions by the Eagles, because the Eagles also eat up tons of clock when they have the ball a lot of times. So you don't want to give them more possessions to keep the ball out of your hand, and they got to keep Baker upright. But we talked about it with Tampa and their receiving core. Even though Mike Evans is hurt, I don't think they're having much of a fall off, if any. I think Tampa can keep this game kind of close, but I think in the end, you're going to see Philadelphia pull away in this game, and injuries is going to have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how little coverage this game has got. For me, I think this is game of the week. For me, obviously, the Cowboys and the Packers play this week, and it's Micah Parsons returning back to Dallas. So that's got the limelight of media coverage, which fine. But in terms of actual games of consequence, I would say this is the biggest game of the week. Two NFC contenders going against each other, and two teams that play very similar types of ball. For me, I think that the Eagles actually play a style of football which plays into the Bucs' hands. The Bucs, seemingly, if you give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a chance at the end of the game to go through and get the win, Baker Mayfield, more often than not, comes up with that winning drive at the end of the game. And I currently trust, with how Baker Mayfield's playing, to be able to play with 2 broken ankles and an arm tied behind his back and still somehow get a winning drive at the end of a game if they allow.
Isn't that the same way? Isn't that the same thing that Jalen Hurts does, though? Figures out how to get a win at the end of the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Eagles are 1-3 against Tampa under Sirianni, but I think actually the only thing that could hurt the Eagles today is that it's going to be 90 fucking degrees and humid in Tampa.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you. I think the only problem with that analysis coming out of the Bucs is that the Eagles have won a Super Bowl doing that. Like the Eagles have won a Super Bowl doing that, and Jalen Hurts like plays within himself to play that system, and I think we've seen that. I think like, go on.
Expect Philly fans to really cheer Todd Bowles when he comes out, and then boo him the rest of the game, because Todd Bowles came out in favor of the tush push. So like Philly's really in love with Todd Bowles right now, but once the kickoff comes, then once Philly fans will turn back into Philly fans.
Philly fans once again. Yeah, so I do think that this is a great game of two teams that have been just scraping and scrapping for wins in the NFC and getting those wins as well. But yes, the Tampa Bay Bucks have got injuries. Chris Godwin is also just coming back from his injury as well. Jay, what do you expect to see from the Philadelphia Eagles game plan here? Because actually it was their passing game that worked for them last week.
Yeah, I think they get back to trying to run the ball. But again, they're one of these teams where if you take away one thing, they have other weapons and they can switch up and move to that. I think that with Jalen Hurts as part of your running game too, it's really hard to defend. I think the Eagles try to really get back to running the ball, bullying on both lines, and trying to win it that way. Are you fucking kidding?
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think because of the weather as well that you've mentioned, I do actually think it'll be good for the Eagles to kind of like slow the game down, give plenty of time for their defense to be off the field, just keep the game slow, snapping the ball on 5 seconds into the play clock, and just keep that game slow and really, really slow it down. And look, Saquon Barkley is currently only averaging 3 yards a carry, but Saquon Barkley is averaging 3 yards a carry and is Saquon Barkley. So that means, yeah, he might average, like he might go backwards, or he might only be averaging 2, and then he'll bust a huge 60-yard run to get you into that game as well. And with that offensive line, they can always play the ground and pound ball. Jay, what have you got in this game? 3.5, so just a little bit more than a field goal. The Eagles are favored by. What have you got?
Give me the Eagles minus the 3.5.
Yeah, I'm actually also taking the Eagles in this game at minus 3.5. With the injuries, if Mike Evans was there, I would have liked this a lot more, but he's not. Jay, the New England Patriots are 5.5-point favorites up against the Carolina Panthers. Jay, why don't the Carolina Panthers seem to get credit for their dominant their dominant 30-0 win last week? They had 30-0, and they're 5.5-point favorites against the New England Patriots team, who haven't looked good really much at all.
I think when it comes to the Panthers, I think that they probably should come in and control this game. I really like what Bryce Young is doing. I really like what their young receiving core is doing. The New England defense has given up, too much rushing yards at times. I think their defense is not bend and don't break. It's, oh shit, we just broke. I think that's kind of their defense. I think they try to play bend but don't break defense. It's, oh shit, they don't broke. Oh shit, it broke. I do like Mike Vrabel. I do like what the Patriots are doing. I just don't think they're there yet. I think the Panthers are a year or two ahead of them in development. And I also think that we see a lot of what the fuck still from Drake May at times. But again, he's a young quarterback. I don't want to overstate it. And the Patriots are one of those teams I feel like if they click for a game could surprise the shit out of everybody. We just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the spread is this large. I'm not necessarily surprised that the Patriots are favorite. But I agree with everything that you just said. I think that Carolina are actually the better team, and they've showed us that they're the better. They've showed us they're the better team. I think the narrative around Carolina is wrong. I think the idea that Carolina are one of the worst teams in the NFL is wrong. I think they're closer to average than people give them credit for. And it's been a bad organization for a while. So it's difficult to come around to that. I think this has a potential. Sorry, Jay, you go.
I was just going to say also Drake May's never thrown for 300 yards as an NFL quarterback. So that makes it rough.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking through stats for this game earlier, and I saw that as well, and I was like very surprised that he's never done that. That's crazy. I do, however, think this has the potential to be like a sneaky shootout game. This is one of the ones where like the over should be heavily considered in this game. I think the over's at 43 currently. Like both teams, like the Patriots last week did everything that they could to not score points. They kept on turning the ball over, including turning the ball over whilst going over the goal line. That doesn't happen regularly. So you can't bet on that. You can see that as a trend if you like, but you can't bet on that happening every time. And the Panthers just put 30 points on a division rival as well. So I would bet on the over in this one. Jay, I think it's no surprise who I'm going for in this one. The Panthers are a plus 5.5 for me. Jay, who are you taking in this one? The Patriots are minus 5.5.
You cut out on me. Who did you pick?
Sorry, I picked the Panthers at plus 5.5.
Okay, yeah, that's where I was going too. So I was hoping you were going the other way. But yeah, I'm taking the Panthers at plus 5.5.
Yeah, I agree on this. I agree with you on that one. I think that has to be a. Did you? Yeah, you actually put it as one of your bets of the week. And the more and more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, you're totally right. I would, if I was picking today, I would change my Commanders pick to that Panthers pick as best bets of the week. Jay, the Bills are going up against the Saints. The Bills are 14.5-point favorites. I don't think we need to delve into this game too much. But Jay, do you think that this could be a sneaky backdoor cover? Do you think the Saints will be able to kind of get a backdoor cover on 14.5? The point spread has actually come down a whole point since Thursday from 15.5.
Yeah, I hate the point spread, but the Saints are just fucking atrocious. And the Bills have been playing pretty good ball, and you always have Josh Allen. And why can't I find my show notes at all for this? But I think that the Bills have a way better team than – fuck, where are they? My computer's not liking me today because I'm watching the game on the Fire Stick. That's all
You're
I'll
running
say.
the game at the same time.
Well, I'm watching it on the Fire Stick, so I don't want to say too much about that. But the Saints, Kellen Moore is he's done all right, like instilling confidence into Spencer Rattler, I think, even in these losses, right? And it's really weird that there's a lot of teams that are 0-3 right now, even though they're not bad. And I think if I'm not mistaken, Spencer Rattler's like 0-9, but has played to the point where I'm like, well, he's at least a career backup in the league. But
yeah, 100%.
Despite sitting on the largest point spread, though, I think the Bills' emphasis has to be on, like, more than any other game is, let's just keep Josh Allen clean. Let's not get him beat up. As long as the Saints can't fucking pin their ears back and go after him, which I don't think they can because I don't think you can get a lead. I think then you get Josh Allen to be comfortable. You run the game through James Cook, and then hopefully you can pin your ears back and you can go after him. But again, the Bills are without Ed Oliver. They're out without their linebacker, Milano, and the right guard, Spencer Brown. So, I mean, that's a lot of injuries, and it's a huge point spread. But with that said, I think the fucking Saints are just that bad, and they're just going to get blown out. But garbage time scores scare me. Like, are they up to where they start pulling starters, and then next thing you know, they win by 12? Right? Like they win by fucking 12 or something instead. So it's a real hard spread for me, but I'm going to take the ridiculous spread and go with the Bills.
I'm also going to take the spread and go with the Bills here. And I agree with everything you said. I think that Spencer Rattler has a career in the NFL. Whether that's as a starter or not, we'll see if he gets a better cast around him to see. I also feel like Kellen Moore also has a career as a head coach in the NFL. We'll see if he can get it to a place where like he can do that in New Orleans, or whether one of these other jobs comes up and New Orleans still hasn't got it together. I also believe that the Bills should make sure that Josh Allen isn't the entire focal point of their offense here, just go out there and win the game. However, I also think that the Bills are kind of semi-capable of that, and Josh Allen will go out there and ball out, whether it's wise for the rest of the season or not. And that's why I'll take the Bills at minus 14.5. Jay, our final game of this early window before we go into our ad break and the Yankee and the Brit community parlay coming up after that ad break. So everybody get ready for that. Jay, the Detroit Lions are minus 10-point favorites against the Cleveland Browns. Jay, will the Cleveland Browns be able to stop the Lions from running the ball? The Browns are currently the number one defense in the NFL with rush defense, 172 yards at 2.3 yards a carry.
Well, and Cleveland's defense is the number one with fewest yards allowed in the NFL with 204.3 a game. But the Lions' offense is ranked second, and it's first in EPA, plays per, right? So will Cleveland's biggest test be today? Will the Browns be alerted, on alert from everything that the Detroit Lions do, because they do a lot of motions, trick plays. They're aggressive. They go for it on fourth down, which gives them another down. They run play actions and screens, which will slow down that defense. Should keep Jared Goff more clean than other quarterbacks have against them. What can the Browns do to stop the motion, the screens, the things that the Lions will do to slow down that defense? I don't know. I think that's the exciting battle we're going to see. But I think the Lions' defense is way better than the Browns against their Browns offense. So I think that's where it's going to be. And I think the Lions will still be able to put up points. Maybe they won't put up 30, but you're still going to be able to put up points because you have that explosive offense that'll slow down the defense with everything I just said. So I think in the long run, the Lions come out of this winning the game. 10 points is a lot. And my gut says to go the under, but I'm just going to take the Lions fucking plus 10 and pray for the best, because I trust the Lions offense more than I trust the Browns offense. And I think the Browns offense may turn the ball over a couple times, giving the Lions a couple extra possessions.
Yeah, I think that is a good point, right? 10 points is pretty huge. And that Browns team is just so elite on defense. And my question is, can the Lions actually win a game without being able to really rush the ball that much? Because I think they might find ways to stop the rush. Like the Green Bay Packers, who held them to 30 rush yards, I think, stopped them from getting that win. Jared Goff didn't look good. Can the Browns do that? And then on the other side of the ball, Keyshawn Junkins came out and looked great in that game against the Packers. The Packers are second or third in rush defense, and Judkins, towards the end of that game, started to really break them down, started to look really great in rushing the ball there, and that was the key to them getting that win, was getting Judkins going down the line there. Minus 10, Jay, when a defense is this good at stopping what you're best at, it is a bit unstoppable force versus immovable object here. Minus 10 is a lot. I'm actually going to take the Browns at plus 10 in this one. Give me the Browns. I don't think they'll come out with the win, but I do think that they will cover the spread here. Jay, that is the halfway point of our tour de force here before the noon kickoffs on Sunday. Let's go to an ad break where you guys can learn how to just support us by buying us a cup of coffee. Me and Jay set up the Yankee and the Brit nearly 5 years ago, and in that time we've gone up to about 7 shows a week. And with the help of our loyal community, we've been able to keep growing, but we want to grow even more, and that's why just giving $5 or £5 could really help us out in our Buy Me a Coffee fund. And all you have to do is hit the Buy Me a Coffee link in our YouTube descriptions. That'll be on every single video. You can give £5, $5, you can give it once, you can give it every month. And what that does is it allows us to grow and even buy ourselves a coffee every once in a while.
thought, Moose. Scary
There's
thought.
3 of us today. There's 3 of us. There's three. Matty's taking over the world. But yeah, guys, you can go down into the comments or the description on this video, and you can donate to us as much as you feel like donating us. We do, especially Jay does a lot of hard work on bringing you daily content now on the Yankee and the Brit channel, and talking about Jay's daily hard work and ways that you can help us out. It's time for the first Yankee and the Brit community betting parlay, where I'm going to have to hand over to Jay because this just isn't my world of parlay betting. So, Jay, take it away. What do you need from our trusted Yankee and the Brit community?
All right, we're just going to go through every game, and we're going to pick one leg from every game left. I think it's 14. So we're going to have a 14-leg parlay. If this thing hits, we'll be doing a giveaway. So make sure you tune in for that. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We will go to the NFL right now. I'm going to it I'm doing Underdog Sports. And we will start with the Philly-Tampa Bay game. And Maddie, we can do something for Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Ibuka, Baker Mayfield. What are you feeling for a player we should look at for this game? What are you thinking just off the top of your head? And then we don't have to pick from that, but we can have a first start to see where we're going.
For me, I would say Ibuka total receptions to be quite high, considering he'll be the main volume.
4.5 over or under 4.5 receptions.
Ibuka over 4.5 receptions, definitely. Eagles secondary not looked. Eagles defense been very bend don't break, and Mike Evans isn't there, so 4.5 I think is fine.
All right,
definitely go over on that.
Moose, if you're still in the comments, feel free to throw something out there. I know you use this app too, so you can jump in there and see some. I'm just going to take that. We don't even have to go any farther with that one. For that game, we're going to do Ibuka, so with 5 or more receptions. All right, let's move on to New Orleans and Buffalo. I think this is going to be a run-heavy game for Buffalo, so let's see what James Cook has going on for a second. We can do.
I agree. Yeah.
0.5 higher or lower anytime touchdown, 77.5 yards, 13.5 receiving yards, or rush yards is 77. Receiving is 3.5. Receptions 2.5 for the game, or over 16.75 fantasy points. We could do longs and first-time scorers. I don't like those kind of bets because first-time scorer could be a fucking fumble recovery in the end zone or anything. So that's a wild one for me. But
third-string tight end in a scripted play situation, all of that kind of stuff. Jay, I really like the idea of James Cook getting at least a touchdown in this game. I was just going to
ask you about that, and I am not an anytime touchdown scorer person. Like, I don't bet that because it's hard, but I like that one in this game because I think James Cook has scored a touchdown in like their last 14 games or something crazy like that. So let's go with James Cook over on the touchdowns.
Also, I'm also if you guys want to bet the 77 yards, I'd also be more than happy with that. I just feel like one touchdown feels very right to me. I
like the 77 yards, except if they get a lead, are you going to stop rushing James Cook because why injure him against the Saints? Yeah. That's where these games become tricky. We're going to move to LA versus New York. Let's see what they're talking about with Scadaboo right now, because Scadaboo's a guy that's anytime would be over or under a half for the score. They said 53 rushing yards, 20 receiving yards, 3.5 receptions, or 12.95 fantasy points. Or they have rushing and receiving yards over or under 77. I don't like a lot of the stuff they have with Scadaboo right now.
I don't like that.
It's all bordered.
I would say if I had to go for Scadaboo, I would go for his receptions. I think in practice, apparently him and Jaxson Dart have a really good connection, and hopefully Jaxson Dart feels comfortable checking it down. But Jay, I think the Chargers defense might be the way to go here.
Yeah, you can't. There's a lot of defense. You got to only bet on sacks for individuals, that kind of thing.
Nope.
I'm looking at this, but what do you think of Dicker? 0.15 field goals, higher or lower than that? Because I think Dicker's going to have more than 2 field goals in this game.
Yeah, I'm happy with. Yeah, I feel like that makes sense.
All right, I'm going to go with that for this game. Fucking kickers, leaving it on the kickers. What are we thinking? All right, Cleveland versus Detroit. So the most popular picks are Gibbs, anytime touchdown, St. Brown, over 66.5, Montgomery, 44 or 45.5 rushing, Goff, 227.5 passing, Judkins, 57.5 rushing, Williams, 42.5 receiving yards, Sam Laporta, 38.5 receiving yards, Joe Flacco, 222.5, Njoku over 37, and Jerry Jeudy over 51. Myles Garrett over 1 sack, Hutchinson 0.5, Hutchinson 0.5. Wow, they expect Jake Bates to get 3 field goals in this game, which is odd.
I think that I feel like that's too many. Like that's too many. But I feel like there could be field goals. I feel like field goals could win this game. I think it's going to be a very defensive game.
Well, the Browns only needs 2.
If I had to pick one of those, I'd be tempted by Judkins at 57. No, like if the Browns are gonna for the Browns to stay in this game, they're gonna have to run the ball. And I feel like that's the way to negate the Detroit Lions pass rush as well. They're going to run it through Judkins. They're going to use Dylan Sampson on receiving downs. But Judkins is their bell cow back now. I'd be tempted by Judkins.
Are you more bullish on Judkins with 58 rushing yards, or are you more? Do you think there's a better chance that Myles Garrett gets 1 sack?
Oh yeah, I don't like betting sacks. Betting sacks feels weird.
It is.
I'd go with Judkins, but I'm happy to.
No, we'll take the Judkins with over 58. So we'll move on to Atlanta versus Washington. Bijan Robinson needs 181.5 is the over under.
Crazy.
Drake London is 61.5 over under. Kyle Pitts is 38.5. Penix, I don't trust enough to even go there. Mariota is 200. Debo anytime touchdown.
200 passing yards.
Yeah.
Wow. What about like Bijan Robinson's fantasy points? What have we got there?
18.75.
He's projected at 20. He's projected at 20.9 currently. I like that. I like 18. 18 is quite high. But he's literally their entire offense.
Yeah, I feel like if we were that the under is a better bet on those points than the over.
Do you know what? I feel like the under is a better bet on some of the like Drake London. Like, what was Drake London's receiving total? It was like 60 odd or something.
61.5 is the receiving total. 5.5 receptions, 12.75 fantasy points, 8.5 targets. Longest reception, 21.5. Do you think he gets a reception more than 22 yards down the field?
If he is receiving, then it will be. Yeah, if he is, I like that. Longest reception plus 20.
See, that's funny. We got to go with something else because I would have went lower than 21.5 on one reception as the longest.
If Drake London's going to make a reception, it'll be down.
He's just slow.
It'll be down the field. God, this is well hard. He is slow. I'm happy to go. I'm happy to go on the under on his receiving yards. I think.
Let's see what Deebo Samuel's got us. Yeah, see, I don't like this 1.5 rushing attempt because you never know if they're going to rush him more than once a game.
No. What a dart. Jay, I don't know how far you are in this game right now, but I'm just gonna say to you, and for the fans out there, the Minnesota Vikings have just scored a touchdown on some really great play by Carson.
Okay, that's next for me. I need to see that.
Yeah.
We're so far behind, though. I don't know if they can catch up in this game, and that's the problem at this point.
What are they not? They're now. Are they going to go for the 2 points here? Probably. Oh, they're checking it. They're checking it to see if he's got his feet in. Okay, we'll continue with.
Marcus Mariota, 34.5 rushing yards over or under. There's that too.
I think, Jay, you pick one. I'm happy for you just to throw a dart. They've awarded the touchdown. They're happy with it. Oh no, are they? Are they going for the 2-point conversion? This makes it a 10-point game.
The one who grabbed that too.
It is Scott. Is a great play, and that's the ooh. Are they giving that? And the 2-point conversion, Jay. It's a 10-point game in Ireland with basically 8 minutes to go. Yeah. So Jay, let's.
Yeah, I'm really struggling, so I'm just going to pick something here. I'm going to go with Matt Gay over 2 field goals for the over 1.5 field goals because the Commanders should probably be putting up a lot of field goals in this game. All right, Carolina versus New England.
What's the over/under on that? Do we get over/unders
in Wisconsin? Unless I'm sitting at the casino, I can't bet wins or over/unders.
That's frustrating. That would be the one because that's 43, and I would take that.
All right, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Bryce Young, 206.5 passing yards, and you can do over or under.
I would say over 206.
I think that's a good bet, don't you?
Yeah, 260 around there. 206 is good.
All right, so we're going to go over on Bryce Young.
They get no pass rush.
I just seen that. I just seen Moose was like, "You can skip that game."
Sorry, guys.
All right, Tennessee versus Houston. Cam Ward's only predicted in this to get 186.5 passing yards.
Yeah, I think but the Texans' defense is so good. Like, that's tough. What about like CJ Stroud's passing yards? Go on, Nick Chubb. Rushing yards.
Passing yards for CJ's 211. Nick Chubb is 50.5 rushing yards.
Are you not tempted by the under on 211?
I actually was, and we're going to go the under on CJ Stroud. Let's do it.
The under on CJ Stroud at 211? Because I think they'll just run the ball. Like, I just don't think they should drop back CJ Stroud at all in that game.
All right, so then we got Indy versus LA. What is the rushing yards prediction? Danny Dimes, 24.5 rushing yards is the rushing on Danny Dimes. I wanted to see what that was.
The Rams actually really struggle with 2 things in the Sean McVay era. They struggle with mobile quarterbacks and they struggle with tight ends. So maybe even like a Tyler Warren tight end receiving yards, or like Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren.
Oh, that's okay. That's semi. Do you think Danny Dimes is good for 20 yards rushing?
I do, but that's that 25. I'm like, that's where they do a good job of hitting me where I'm like, that's about where I could see it going. All right. I don't love doing this, but I think this is another one where we take Jonathan Taylor for an anytime touchdown.
Yeah, 100%. If we get 1 touchdown on Jonathan Taylor, I'm happy with that.
All right. So we're on to Jacksonville and San Francisco. Well, they think McCaffrey's going to have about 45 receiving yards.
I'd say that's quite high. I obviously think that's because Juwan Jennings is out and Brock Purdy's back.
So here's one. Do you think Christian McCaffrey gets over or under 2.5 receptions in the first half?
In the first half. Over.
Let's do that. I like that too. So we'll both go with that. I think if we overthink them, we're just going to fuck this up anyway. So let's,
I agree. Let's just hammer them out.
Baltimore, Kansas City. They got almost 50 yards rushing for Lamar, so no thanks. Patrick Mahomes over or under 25 yards rushing. That's one of those weird ones. Worthy over 46 yards. Kelsey over 40 yards. Zay Flowers over 61 yards.
I really like Worthy over 40. I really like that.
It's 46.5.
I'm happy at 50
we got
for
it.
Worthy. I think they've got no juice anywhere else. We'll move on to that in the next reaction.
Well, for some reason, I didn't know this was a rule, and we don't get that one, and we maxed out. They only let you do 8. I thought they let you do up to 20, but they only let you do 8 on it.
Okay, well that's fine. We'll stick with those 8, and we'll work it out. And this was a fun, and we'll work it out.
I'm being honest. I am going to bet $10. If this thing hits, it's 527. Okay. Cut that in half because of taxes. I am not eating the taxes. We will give a giveaway on the other half if we win, because I'm not eating the taxes on that. But we will give away a $250 something. We'll figure it out. If it hits, we might do more than one giveaway. Maybe I'll try to find a retro jersey, or we'll do something, but we'll figure that all out, and then we'll do something cool. If you got an idea for the giveaway, drop it in the comments. And Moose is the only one in here, so maybe we'll have to figure out how Moose gets a higher chance of winning, and we'll still do a giveaway for everybody else. But we'll get Moose in there with a couple extra entries or something for being part of this.
Yeah, and I think with the giveaway, obviously you have to be subscribed, you have to have liked this, and you have to have hit the bell in the notifications. I can't remember if we can see that or not.
I don't think we can see the notifications, but I still like that you put that in.
Bell. That's a shame. Got to make sure that they're subscribed. But that was the first one, and we'll work that out as it goes through the season. Jay, I love that. That's a great segment. Addition to help out with the betting here. This game's getting close in the fourth quarter. It's getting tight in Dublin. But Jay, the San Francisco 49ers are 3.5-point favorites against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jay, have you been disappointed by Travis Hunter this season?
No, I've been again disappointed in Trevor Lawrence. And it's not that he's horrible. It's just when are we going to see that jump to this elite status that pretty much all of us have been thinking you could get? And now we're in year 5 or 6, and it's what the fuck? When do we stop hanging on to Trevor Lawrence but then again, Trevor Lawrence has had a different fucking coach every time he turns around. I'm disappointed in the Jaguars all around. But no, Travis Hunter's a rookie. I'm not expecting. It's crazy that we live in a world that is so instant gratification that we think pro athletes have to just give us instant gratification, which is a crazy thing.
Yeah, and he's a two-way rookie, which is something that has very rarely been done. So is kind of finding his way into the NFL with coaches who've never really had to work with this kind of talent before. The other side of that coin is, I'm not disappointed in Travis Hunter. I'm disappointed in just the vibes in Jacksonville. I think are all wrong. I think everything in Jacksonville is currently all wrong. The vibes of their quarterback, the new coach is already under pressure, which I find incredible as well. The stuff with Brian Thomas Jr. is mad there. And Jay, I don't know if you've just seen the fight But something that gets me really annoyed in the NFL is the idea that the guy, like, because a penalty happens second, it offsets the penalty, but the penalty that happens first causes the penalty that happens second. So there's a fight that breaks out. DK Metcalf is holding, I think it's Marcellus by the face mask. Marcellus goes to hit him off his face mask after he's been hitting him for a while, and the penalty's offset. And that, I think, is crazy.
And they've been flagging everybody for the gun motions, but Rodgers gets away with it. So figure that out.
Yeah, the quarterback, the white quarterback gets away with the gun motions. Who would have thought that? But yeah, so I'm really disappointed in what there are in Jacksonville. And Jay, on the San Francisco side of the ball, there's obviously a lot of injuries. Do you think that the Jacksonville defensive front can cause serious issues for Brock Purdy coming back? He's obviously got Juwan Jennings out now, but he's still got Ricky Pearsall and Christian McCaffrey. So do you think the Jacksonville defense can cause enough problems here?
Not enough, just because Brock Purdy's a guy who is not going to make a lot of mistakes. Even if he throws the ball away, checks it down on third down, Brock Purdy is a quarterback who definitely understands that punting's okay. Now, how do you make up on the other side for the loss of Nick Bosa? But also, when it comes to the 49ers defense, the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off a game with 6 drops, 3 of them by Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. a couple weeks ago was making fucking football decisions instead of just going up and getting the ball. But I don't know. It's weird because how much does Nick Bosa hurt? And I think it's a lot on that defense. But then when you look at the defense for the Jaguars, they play solid, but the 49ers are going to help them out just on the fact that they have a ton of fucking injuries too. So it's a weird game for me. That's where I come in. But I do think that San Francisco is still 3.5 points better than the Jaguars.
Yeah, and Jay, I feel like there's a couple of teams where we're looking at the talent on paper. Miami, for example, like we're looking at the talent on paper and we're thinking, yeah, they're going to be great. They're going to do so well. We're looking at the talent on the paper and we're just ignoring the evidence that we've seen so far this season. Like we're talking in hypotheticals rather than in the evidence that we're seeing. And
If you can hear me, it's your volume that's out. I thought I couldn't hear you, but nobody can hear you. I just checked on the phone. So I bet you just gave a great answer to that, too, that nobody got to hear because you were impassionate. I could see it in your face, and you were really giving an answer, but I couldn't hear you. So,
damn.
Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you. I thought it was me.
No, my microphone just ran out of charge. That's so upsetting. But anyway.
Still got good audio.
Yeah, that's okay, good. So what I was saying is that the Los Angeles Rams are 3.5-point favorites up against the Indianapolis Colts. That's they are one of my best bets of the week. No.
They stopped them?
Huge play. Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers sends the special teams back. Like Aaron Rodgers says to Mike Tomlin, keep the special teams off the field. And then they stop them at the 1-yard line.
It's still going to be almost impossible to win this game, but like they say on Dumb and Dumber, you're saying we got a chance.
Yeah, the Vikings have So the Vikings are now the Vikings have now got the ball in up at the 20-yard line with a reception to Justin Jefferson just
Okay, cool.
now. But the Indianapolis Colts are 3.5 point. The Rams are 3.5 point favorites up against the Indianapolis Colts. The Rams are one of my best bets of the week. The Colts have been great, but I'm just surprised that the spread's here. That the spread is so low. But Jay, if the Colts win this week, do we have to start taking them seriously as contenders?
All right, I'm just going to tell you this right away. When the Colts win this week, you are going to have to take them as serious contenders. And you thought the spread was low. I thought it was high because I'm like, how the hell are you taking a Colts team that's one of the best in the league at rushing? Danny Dimes is playing balls out. Shane Steichen has got that team ready to go. The defenses look good. The offensive line is back to what we thought it was. People are making plays all over the field for the Colts. You can feel that they believe. They believe. That's the thing, too. Like, somehow bringing in, like, two guys changed the fucking culture in that locker room. And I think the sad thing is the culture was we can't win with Anthony Richardson. And then they were like, oh, we can win with Danny Dimes. And I think that switched the whole culture, which – what, dude, if you would have told me Danny Dimes switched the culture anywhere for the good, I would have argued till I was blue in the face. I'd have bet my fucking life savings you were wrong. Shout out to Danny Dimes. And again, another indictment on Brian Daboll. I am so impressed with the Colts this year. I think the Colts actually win this game. So even if they lose, I don't think it's by like 7 or more. So give me the Colts plus the 3.5. Now, I wouldn't make this anywhere near a best bet because I think this game could go either way, but I am leaning towards the Colts actually right now today being the better out of the two teams.
Take it to the house, Addison. No, stop to the 1 yard line.
Well, for you, that sucks. For me, I'm 1 yard line. Yeah, did you start him?
No, I haven't started him, but I knew I should.
Okay, then it don't matter for you. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the Vikings are at the 1 yard line now.
This is the most Vikings shit ever. Come on, let's go.
It's an 80-yard play on a bus coverage.
I shut the game actually off on my TV, and I'm only following it on the internet right now because it was screwing up my internet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that second and goal. But yeah, Jay, I really like the Rams this year. I have liked the Colts. I like the Colts coming into the year more than like a lot of people. I think that Danny Dimes was a good choice there. I was surprised that they benched Anthony Richardson and didn't give Anthony Richardson like the start the season to see where he's at. But Danny Dimes has looked good. Danny Dimes has looked good in these games. But Jay, when you look on the other side of the ball, yes, the Colts have been balling out, but the Rams have been balling out as well. And they only lost the game last week to the Super Bowl champions because of a blocked field goal. They are the joint leaders in the league in sacks with 12 sacks, and Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are balling out. For me, the Rams are actually having the best overall performances that we've seen this season. So I'm taking the Rams on this one. Jay's taking the Colts. That's going to be a great game to watch. And probably the game that I'm going to have switched on the most during the late window. Jay, the Las Vegas Raiders are 1.5 point favorites against the Chicago Bears. I was surprised that the Raiders were favored in this game just because of the poor start that they've had. But Jay, is this Ashton Genty's breakout game? The Bears have the second worst in yards per carry, and Genty is hit behind the line on 50% of his carries so far this season. So if he's not getting hit behind the line on 50% of his carries, is this his chance for a breakout game? And Jay, it's 4th and goal in Dublin, so we'll just wait until that plays over.
I can't fucking deal with this game anymore. Anyway,
touchdown, Vikings.
I don't know if Ashton Genty's really going to have the breakout game because they don't seem to want to use him. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Touchdown. Sorry, everyone. Touchdown, Jalen Naylor. 2 minute, still before the 2 minute warning with a with a timeout left. Moose fuming in our chat because Jordan Madison does not get a touchdown when they've been 1 yard out from the goal line for 4 plays. Yet they have been refusing to use Ashton Genty. I've been so surprised at the lack of usage for Ashton Genty. It blows my mind. And Jay, if they continue to misuse him, can you see coaching changes in Vegas? Because they spent a huge draft pick there on the offensive side of the ball.
No, because it's Pete Carroll. Like, you're not going to bring in Pete Carroll and then dump him right away. And I'm sure that they've explained to Mark Davis what they're doing. That doesn't mean I agree with it. I don't know if he's in the doghouse for some reason and they just don't want to tell us, like, something happened and they're punishing him or what the weird thing is. I try to get him on the field and get him the ball as much as I can. I'm not comfortable with this game either way because I kind of think both teams kind of stink, and it's hard to pick against 2 stink teams. But for this one, the Bears' run game's atrocious. Caleb Williams makes a mistake. I know he was NFC Player of the Week, fucking game, whatever. Still didn't look great to me. I trust Geno Smith more than I trust Caleb Williams. So give me the Raiders in this game.
Yeah, so Jay, the question I was going to ask you was last week simply just because it was against the Dallas Cowboys who can't cover anything, was Caleb Williams bounced back. I'm somewhere on the middle in that. I think Caleb Williams at the start of the season was missing a lot of the throws that he was making in that game against the Cowboys. And I think, for instance, the DK Moore touchdown pass was a great pass with pressure in his face. So I think he's kind of both turned a corner, but he's not as good as he will have looked in the Dallas Cowboys game. It is an offside kick for the Minnesota Vikings now. Will Reichard stepping up to the ball. If the Vikings recover this kick, which obviously you now have to elect, so it's not really been happening, but we'll see.
It's almost impossible now.
And timeout called. It was a very nice kick. It popped up at a very nice time to just break someone's rib and try and get that ball back. So timeout in that game there. So Jay, we'll move on to the Kansas City. I'm picking the Bears in that one as well. Who have you got?
Well, I knew your Caleb Love was coming through. I knew that.
My Caleb Love was coming through. He's my fantasy QB now. So now I have to ride with him.
I feel like every time you talk about Caleb, I should just start playing like some fucking Love music in the background.
Yeah, maybe. There you go. This is my Caleb Williams theme tune since he became my fantasy quarterback, because I'm a fantasy ride or die guy. To be honest, at some points I might be like more passionate about my fantasy team than the Dallas Cowboys at certain points this season, because the Cowboys season is in the bin, and we'll chat more about that in a second. Onside kick. Get up. No.
It's impossible to recover an onside kick. Yeah, I knew that was. I even was watching, and I knew that was going to happen.
Their first kick was the first kick that was then timeout to the Steelers, which was a much better kick. That one just didn't hop up. It had a chance. It just didn't hop up. There, Jay. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 2.5-point favorites. And Jay, who would have thought that one of these teams, no matter what happens, one of these teams, unless it's a tie, will be starting 1-3. Jay, who is this more of a must-win for?
The Chiefs. Because they're more injured.
I would say because all of the media coverage has been about this is a must-win for the Chiefs. The Chiefs season is over here if they lose to the Ravens. But you don't think the psychological thing of this is the time to beat the Chiefs, and Lamar still doesn't beat the Chiefs. Do you not think that has a really serious detrimental effect on the Ravens season if they don't go out and win here? Plus, the Chiefs can look to it and say, we get Rashee Rice back next week. Xavier Worthy's another week fitter in the offense as well, like into the next week. I think it's more of a must-win for the Ravens. Oh, the week after next. My bad.
So that's the week after that, because he's got 2 more games on the suspension. This is week 4, so he's got 5 and 6.
Doesn't mean, 6-week suspension doesn't mean he comes back in week 6. It means he actually comes back in week 7. Well,
yeah.
But anyway, they've always got Rashee Rice to come back. And to be honest, I know the Chiefs don't have like throwaway seasons and all of those kind of things. I understand that. But it already feels like more of a throwaway season for the Chiefs. The Ravens are Super Bowl or bust. And if they go 1-3, then that's crazy, with the detrimental effect of the mental thing of losing to the Chiefs again.
Maybe, but I think that the Ravens could go 1-3 and still find themselves in the playoffs. Yeah. I think if the Chiefs go 1-3, I think you're fucked because you're just not that good this year. You're not as good as you have been. And we watched it last year. We questioned you last year. So now there's another decline. At what point do we go, you have to do a rebuild of some sort, not a blow it up rebuild, but maybe Xavier Worthy coming back really helps that offense. But I think the running game is been awful this year for what we're used to from the Kansas City Chiefs. And I also think the Ravens win this game. So I think that it becomes more onus on what's going on in Kansas City. But if somehow Kansas City wins this game, I think either team who loses this game, everybody in the league is going to be questioning if they should blow it up, should start over, that kind of shit. I mean, we're not going to talk about firing the quarterbacks or anything, but should they do some kind of blow up and rebuild? What do they have to do? My questions for Kansas City are on the offense. My questions for the Ravens are on the defense, but I think the Ravens defense makes enough plays to win this game, and I think that the Ravens are smart enough to ride Derrick Henry to a victory. I'm taking the Ravens. I don't feel super confident. And if you guys are out there betting, I'm not sure you want to bet this game.
I would stay miles away from this game. The reason I'm taking the Chiefs as underdogs in this game is the Ravens' defensive line is entirely injured. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson seems to have a block against anything that the Chiefs defensive coordinators can put against him as well. Anything that the Chiefs defensive coordinators can put against him, Lamar Jackson seems to have some sort of block for that as well. And Jay, I think that something that we haven't spoken about yet, but we did speak about when we were going through our parlay is Xavier Worthy is a big addition to this Chiefs team now. The Chiefs offense has looked poor because they've had zero juice. And Xavier Worthy brings juice to a team. He's so fast. And the Ravens defense has looked horrible in the secondary. Terrible in that secondary altogether. So give me the Chiefs at plus 2.5 here. Also, just Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes as a dog, I'm happy to take.
But Xavier Worthy's never lived up to what they thought he was going to be yet. Lots of drops, so I'm not sure. That's where I'm like, I don't know, but okay.
If it was Rashee Rice coming back now and Xavier Worthy, who was suspended, I'd be happier. 3rd and 1 on the 40-yard line of the Vikings. Timeout Pittsburgh. Okay. So Jay, we'll move on we'll move on into Sunday Night Football, where the Dallas Cowboys are going up against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 7-point favorites in Micah Parsons' return to Dallas. Jay, who'll be more fueled up by the return of Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys or the Green Bay Packers?
I don't know. Jerry should have kept his mouth shut, because quoting Jerry says,
shit.
We'll have a great he's great, but we'll have a clear game plan against him. We didn't exactly win a Super Bowl with him. Okay, Jerry. I don't know. I think where the the Cowboys have to play this game is they're second in the league in running yards right now, but they're 8th lowest in rushing attempts. Up that, run it more, get more attempts. You're rushing for 5.4 yards a game. Keep running the ball. Keep Jordan Love on the sideline, because the problem is your defense, not your offense. So is your offense good enough and explosive enough to score on the Packers? Absolutely. Is the defense good enough to of the Cowboys to stop the Packers? Probably not. So you really, really got to try to I think you got to try to shut down Josh Jacobs, and if fucking Jordan Love kills you, then so be it. But the fact is, you got to pound the ball. The Cowboys have to, and you can't let Micah get off because he's going to try to get off. And if Jerry can shut down, if the Cowboys can shut down Micah, it gives Jerry all kinds of talking points to get everybody hot and bothered this week with what he says. So I think that's the big thing is you got to try to stop Micah from getting there. But you got to run the ball. The key for if the Cowboys have any chance in this game is to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
Yeah, and the Minnesota Vikings are going to get the ball back with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go, needing a field goal to tie the game. So, yeah, there's a chance. The Vikings have still got a chance here. Carson Wentz will have the ball in hand. It'll be 1 minute and 4. It's 1 minute and 8 with the punt still to come.
Shit, even with a minute,
okay,
that's better than what you thought they were going to get at the end of
exactly.
Play. So
exactly.
Did the Steelers throw an incomplete pass? I'm trying to do the math in my head.
Ball's gone out the back of the end zone, which means the
20.
Vikings will start on the 30. The
20 on a punt.
The Vikings will start on. Yeah, so the Vikings have got 80 yards to go in a minute with no timeouts. The Vikings had a timeout, so they were able to stop. Where they were able to stop one. So
they're at the 20. 30.
They had the Vikings had a timeout.
They need 30 yards. They need 40 yards to give Will Reichert a reasonable shot. Yeah,
a chance. Yeah, you got a chance. There's a chance.
I mean, even 45 or even 35 yards might get him in range, but that's a hell of a kick that they're asking him to make.
How are you feeling about that then? Do you think they'll make it? Oh no!
What happened?
Game over.
Interception. Okay.
Yeah, interception. Carson Wentz. Let's see if the Steelers cornerback keeps his feet in down. It is a great play by the Steelers cornerback here. Let's see if he stays in bounds. What a great game in Ireland though, and a great atmosphere there. But yeah, we'll react to it on 2 feet down, 2 feet in bounds. That is I basically ripped it from there.
I accepted at halftime the outcome of this game, so it hurts less right now because I already went through the motions.
That is a great play. Great play. Yeah, Jay, back to the Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers. I agree with you. I had exactly the same stats here where Dallas have to run the ball. They are second in the league in yards per carry at 5.4, but they're 8th in rush attempts, which over 3 games, they've attempted 70 runs. Only 70 when you've finally got an offensive line, an interior offensive line together that you can really run behind as well. It is a real run grading. And Javonte Williams has been like dark horse of the season. Like everybody gave the Dallas Cowboys running back room no chance. The Dallas Cowboys running back room, and Javonte Williams looked incredible. Maybe that. But Javonte Williams has looked incredible. The other side of that coin, however, is the Green Bay Packers have, I think, the 6th best rush defense in the league, so they are able to stop that. But the Browns, the way that the Browns, no interception, chance is still on, didn't get his feet in bounds. He must have ripped the ball after he got his first foot down. This game is still on. 58 seconds on the 20-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. Jay, I'm sorry for putting you through the motions, man. I'm
actually just wondering what you're doing with the Cowboys because you walked in circles for the last 7 minutes on the Cowboys.
Sorry, my bad. But yeah, I do agree that the Cowboys have like a sneakily good offense to kind of challenge the Packers. And when Jerry Jones is talking about the game plan for Micah Parsons, the game plan for Micah Parsons is to go at Micah Parsons with the run to stop him from being able to rush here. But Jay, do you think that Jordan Love is going to be able to not dice up the Cowboys? Is this a real prove-it game for Jordan Love? If he has a bad performance in this one, do you think that's it on Jordan Love. He's not got what it takes because the the Cowboys secondary is horrific.
I think Jordan Love is at the point where you got to show us, are you elite or are you just the middle of the road 10 to 15 quarterback in the NFL? Are you elite or are you the guys that are going to get talked about as, oh, they have to have everything perfect around them to win? Which guy are you? We've seen flashes of elite, but you don't ever hold it. And that's the thing with middle guys. They show flashes of elite, but they never can get there consistently. So what are you, Jordan Love? That's actually, is that a superlative? Would that be technically? Jordan Love, what are you? That's my superlative for the week.
Yeah. Jordan Love, what are you? I think is a great question to ask there. Jay, I think the game script here will actually favor the Dallas Cowboys being able to cover the spread. Do I think they'll win? No. Do I think they'll be within a touchdown? I really do think they'll just go out and just run this ball to make sure the Packers just get zero chance, because the other side of running the ball and running the ball that well is you don't need your secondary to like play every down. They can just keep the defense off the field here. So I'm going to take the Cowboys at +7. I'm going to take the Cowboys at +7 in this one. Who have you got?
I'm taking the Packers, but I hope I'm absolutely wrong with this.
Yeah. Obviously that NFC North rivalry burning straight through. Jay, 43 seconds left in this game. The
First
Vikings
and 10
have just got a first
39.
down. Yeah, 1st and 10 from the 39. Jay, the Miami Dolphins are 2.5 point favorites against the New York Jets. That's intentional grounding. The Miami Dolphins are 2.5 point favorites against the New York Jets. Jay, how can you favor Miami in a game here? I don't understand. The vibes are so bad in Miami. How do you favor them in a game?
2 words. Justin Fields. And I'm dead serious. I'm not even
talking about it.
So dead serious.
Yes, the way that you can favor the Miami Dolphins in a game is because it's against the New York Jets, who, as organizations go, like our organizations go, it's pretty similar, right? It's pretty similar. But Jay, on your comments on Justin Fields, do you see them maybe kind of giving Tyrod Taylor time in this game as well, like having Justin Fields, because Justin Fields, I think, opens up the run game a bit more. But do you think that you could see them playing some Tyrod Taylor here as well, and we'll get a look at both Jets quarterbacks during this game?
I think as long as Field is totally cleared from the concussion, you have to play him. I just think you invested to see what you have. You get to see if you can make something out of him. We already know what Tyrod Taylor is. I'm already sold that I know what Justin Fields is, but for some reason, the league keeps acting like they have no idea what Justin Fields is. The problem for the Jets, though, is the running game. Breece Hall hasn't done shit. I'd be surprised if they actually don't use Braylon Allen more because he's had better running. And then with the Dolphins, I don't know what they're doing. Darren Waller's got a hip injury. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you put any stock into the Dolphins. But again, you're talking about 2 0-3 teams, whereas somebody on this panel said that the Jets would be lucky to win 4 games this year. So I'm not sure where we go with this, but I cannot trust the Dolphins at all. And so if you're giving me points, I'm taking the Jets plus the fucking 2.5 just because they're both shitty teams. And if you're going to give me points, I'm going to go that route. Plus, I honestly think the Jets are more talented. I just think Tua is a better quarterback than Justin Fields. But at this point, does it really matter? Because I think Mike McDaniels lost any of the magic we thought he had.
For me, the Jets at 2.5 is actually one of my best bets of the week, because the Jets have played the Bucs close, the Jets have played the Steelers close, and the Dolphins close game. When they played a team close, they lost by 10 points to the Buffalo Bills. That's the best they've looked this season, was losing by 10 points. And I don't see that organization this season getting anything done really whatsoever. So give me the Jets at +2.5. It's 4th down. This is for the game. And that's the game. The Steelers come away with the win in Dublin. Good win for the Steelers there. And guys, if you want to hear our reactions to all of these games, you can come join us on Thursday night before Thursday night football, and you can come and join us to watch there. But Jay, our final game for this week is the Denver Broncos 7.5 versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Jay, will another week of first team reps for Browning make him more ready to give the ball to his weapons this week?
Yeah, that was a rough game, but he's playing another rough defense. I just don't like the 7.5 points because Denver doesn't put up points in bunches. But again, Cincinnati looked so bad against Minnesota last week. You almost feel like Browning played better last year, so they can only get better moving forward. Kind of feels like that. I think Denver wins this game. I just don't know if it's by 7.5. I don't know. That's where I'm stuck. This is a really hard game for me to pick.
Yeah, for me, it's simple. The Bengals line cannot block for Jake Browning, and they could not block for Joe Burrow with enough time for them to make any meaningful plays. They have to get the ball to Chase Brown as an extension of their run game in the receiving game. They have to do that. That has to happen. But on the other side of the ball, the Broncos are joint top of the league in sacks with 12 sacks through the first 3 games of the season. They're going to do exactly what the Vikings did to this team last week. They're going to do the same, and the Vikings put it on them. Jay, give me the Broncos in this one at 7.5. I think that Bo Nix has been good enough. Like, with a defense there, Bo Nix is good enough.
Give me Cincinnati plus 7.5. I still think Denver wins. I don't like the spread.
Okay, I like that pick. Nice bit of difference to finish off there. Jay, after this mammoth show due to me getting distracted by the Vikings game and how it
more than I did
the end there. Yeah, sorry, man.
It was weird. Maddie was more distracted than me. It was a wild thing. I was like, damn, I think you're really a Vikings fan and you just don't want to like admit you're moving on.
Jay, I would say I've watched every single Vikings game for the past like 5 years since we've been doing.
I have watched way more Cowboys than I ever had in my life, so I got you.
I've religiously watched every Vikings game every week, like for as we've been doing this show. But Jay, we finish off every week just before people need to get in their fantasies for the noon game. For fantasy players to watch, if you're still deciding on those players to pick, those players to sit, Jay, who have you got for your fantasy player of the week for people to watch?
Keon Coleman against the Saints. Lock it in. He is going to go nuts against the Saints. So I predict him to have about 8 receptions for about 100 yards and a touchdown. So if I'm right, that's 24 fantasy points, so go lock that in.
Jay, for me, this is a week to get your rookies started and on the board, or just take one more look at them before you're sure to start them. I've got 2 for you. I've got Ashton Genty for the Raiders going up to that Bears run defense is terrible. I feel like that 50% he gets hit behind the line will be cut down drastically, giving Genty the ability to run the ball. And I think they're moving on to like getting him more and more of the ball as he's gone through the weeks. And Jay, I feel like you have to pick one of the Packers wide receivers. The Dallas Cowboys lead the league by double on yards conceded, over 20 yards in passing. So they're double higher. For me, I'm going to pick Matthew Golden out of those Green Bay wide receivers to go off against the Dallas Cowboys as well. So watch out for those 2 rookies.
If I had to pick, and this is just me, out of their receivers, I'm going with Reed.
Yeah, I
think Reed is their number 1.
It's difficult. Which is, I think it's whoever Reed gets the most coverage by the Cowboys. It's whoever's going to get covered by Kyle Elam. which
So
I imagine might be Matthew Golden.
If you're the Cowboys, though, don't you want to put Diggs on Golden because of how fast Golden is?
Yeah, sure. But Diggs also can't run currently either, so it doesn't yes, I do. If I'm the Cowboys, I think
you're rolling coverage over the top of Golden because of how fast. But that's just, we'll see. This is just us guessing. Yeah. But yeah,
if I'm the Cowboys, I'm actually letting Josh Jacobs try and beat us, so I can keep, because I want to keep the game script. I want to keep the game script to the run game. I want it to be a run versus.
You got to quit using the term script, because there is too many people who think the NFL is scripted.
That's what it's called. It's called.
I know, but there's too many people who think it's rigged, and that it's a scripted thing, which I find insanity. But okay.
Oh God. Yeah. It's not. But yes, so there are fantasy players to watch for this week. Guys, I hope you have another great week of football. I hope you win your fantasy games this week. Enjoy the week for football.
I hope everybody wins their fantasy games except for Josh. So enjoy football. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are 5 minutes before kickoff, so go and enjoy the games. Hit that notification. Like we said, we got 7 shows running now. So instead of giving you the rundown, just hit the notifications. You won't miss out. We appreciate your support, and if you'd like, go and buy us a cup of coffee. The link's in the description. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.